The vanguard of humanity. The stars shimmered across the vast emptiness of space as Captain Maya Chen stood on the observation deck of the ESA's Vanguard, Earth's first and only interstellar warship. The massive vessel represented humanity's greatest achievement, a quantum leap in technology that had taken decades of secret development and the combined efforts of the world's brightest minds. Beautiful, isn't it? Commander Jackson Reeves approached from behind, his footsteps barely audible on the deck's polished surface. As her second-in-command and oldest friend, he was one of the few people who could read the tension in her shoulders. Beautiful and terrifying, Maya replied, her dark eyes never leaving the viewport. Somewhere out there, something is watching us. Has been for centuries, according to the data. What the public didn't know, what only a handful of government officials and the Vanguard's crew knew, was that the ship hadn't been built merely for exploration. 3 years ago, a classified deep space monitoring station had detected unusual energy signatures at the edge of our solar system. Further investigation revealed an elaborate network of artificial structures, clearly not of human origin. Someone, or something, had been studying Earth. Final system checks are complete, Captain. Jackson handed her a tablet displaying the ship's status. The quantum drive is operational. Weapon systems are green across the board, and the crew is at battle readiness. Maya nodded, finally turning away from the stars. At 38, she carried herself with the confidence of someone who had earned her position through merit rather than connections. Her service record was impeccable, her tactical mind unparalleled. That's why they had chosen her for this mission. Humanity's first step into a potentially hostile galaxy. Tell Dr. Puddle to meet me in the command center. I want to review the xenolinguistic protocols one more time before departure. As Jackson left, Maya took one last look at Earth through a different viewport, a fragile blue marble hanging in the blackness. Everything she had ever known, everyone she had ever loved, was there. And now, it was her responsibility to protect it. In the command center, the crew worked with practiced efficiency. Dr. Anika Patel, the ship's chief science officer and xenolinguistics expert, was already waiting when Maya arrived. Captain, Anika nodded. I've refined our first contact protocols based on the latest data. If these beings have been studying us, they likely understand our languages, our customs. The question is whether they're merely curious or have more. Concerning intentions, Maya settled into the captain's chair, feeling the weight of command settle onto her shoulders. We're about to find out. Navigation. Set course for the nearest monitoring station. Lieutenant Park, keep our defensive systems on standby, but not active. Let's not appear hostile unless we need to. Aye, Captain, came the chorus of responses. Quantum drive initiating in 3, 2, 1. The Vanguard shuddered slightly as the revolutionary propulsion system engaged. Unlike conventional engines, the quantum drive didn't move the ship through space. It moved space around the ship, effectively allowing travel at speeds that would have seemed impossible just a decade ago. The stars outside the viewports blurred, then resolved into new configurations as the ship emerged light years from Earth in mere minutes. Position confirmed, Captain. The navigation officer reported. We've arrived at the coordinates. The alien structure is approximately 3,000 kilometers to starboard. Maya leaned forward. On screen, the main display flickered to life, showing a sleek, crystalline structure that seemed to shimmer with its own inner light. It was undeniably artificial, with geometric patterns that suggested advanced mathematics and engineering beyond human capabilities. It's beautiful, Anika whispered. And it's activating, Lieutenant Park warned, his fingers dancing across his console. It's emitting some kind of transmission, directed at us. Shields up, Maya ordered automatically. Dr. Patel, can you decipher the transmission? Anika was already working furiously at her station. It's not directed at us, Captain. It's sending a message outward, away from our solar system. I think it's alerting someone to our presence. Before Maya could respond, space itself seemed to ripple and distort approximately 10,000 kilometers ahead of them. A massive ship, at least 3 times the size of the Vanguard, materialized out of nowhere. Its design was organic yet mechanical, with flowing lines that suggested it had been grown rather than built. Tactical analysis, Maya demanded, keeping her voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through her system. Energy readings off the charts, Captain, Lieutenant Park reported. Multiple weapon systems detected, all currently inactive. Their shields are up, but not at full power. I'd say it's a defensive posture, not immediately hostile. They're hailing us, Communications Officer Chen announced. Audio and visual. Maya straightened her uniform. On screen, the display changed to show the interior of what appeared to be the alien vessel's command center. At its center stood a tall, humanoid figure with iridescent blue skin and large, multifaceted eyes that reflected light like diamonds. When it spoke, its mouth didn't move. Instead, a harmonious series of tones emerged, which were translated by the ship's computer into English. Human vessel, you have entered restricted space. Identify yourself and your purpose. Maya stood, projecting confidence she didn't entirely feel. I am Captain Maya Chen of the Earth Federation ship Vanguard. We have detected monitoring devices in our solar system and have come to investigate their purpose and origin. The alien seemed momentarily taken aback, its faceted eyes shifting through colors, from blue to purple to a deep gold. This is unexpected. Your species should not possess quantum displacement technology for at least another century. And yet, here we are. Maya replied evenly. Perhaps you've underestimated humanity. The alien made a gesture that might have been equivalent to a nod. I am Sentinel Zaravek of the Galactic Concord, tasked with monitoring pre-interstellar civilizations. Your solar system has been under observation as part of our standard protocols for emerging species. Without our knowledge or consent, Maya pointed out. It is not our policy to reveal ourselves to species that have not achieved certain technological and societal milestones. The alien, Zaravek, explained. Your sudden appearance with advanced technology raises concerns. Maya could read between the lines. The Concord was worried about how humanity had made such a technological leap. Our advancement is the result of human ingenuity and determination, nothing more. That remains to be verified, Zaravek replied. The Concord Council will need to assess this development. Your vessel will accompany us to the nearest Concord station for diplomatic discussions. Maya's expression hardened. We will consider your invitation, but the Vanguard remains under Earth authority. We are not subject to your jurisdiction. Zaravek's eyes flashed red briefly. Captain Chen, you misunderstand. This is not an invitation. It is a requirement for species making first contact with the Concord. The alternative would be unfortunate. The implied threat hung in the air, and Maya felt her crew tense around her. The Vanguard was advanced, but they were facing an established interstellar civilization with unknown capabilities. We will need to consult with our government, Maya replied diplomatically. Allow us to establish communication with Earth. Very well, Zaravek conceded. You have 2 of your Earth hours. After that, we will expect your compliance. The transmission ended, and Maya immediately turned to her crew. Analysis. Can we outrun them if necessary? Jackson frowned. The quantum drive needs time to recharge after a jump of this magnitude. We could try conventional engines, but based on their technology level, I doubt we could outpace them. Weapons assessment. Lieutenant Park shook his head. Our systems are advanced for Earth standards, but we're detecting technology on their ship that suggests they're centuries ahead of us in some areas. So diplomacy it is, Maya concluded. Dr. Patel, what's your impression? Annika looked thoughtful. They're surprised and concerned. We've upset some kind of established order by appearing with technology we shouldn't have. The mention of a Concord suggests a coalition of species, possibly with strict rules about technological development and interstellar contact. Maya nodded. We need to establish communication with Earth immediately, and while we're waiting, She turned to her tactical officer. "Run a complete scan of their vessel. Let's learn everything we can about our new friends." As the crew carried out her orders, Maya returned to the viewport, studying the alien ship. Humanity had dreamed of this moment for centuries, first contact with an extraterrestrial civilization. But in those dreams, humans were typically greeted as equals, or at least with curiosity and goodwill. The reality was clearly more complicated. They weren't being welcomed, they were being contained, assessed, possibly even feared. And that raised a troubling question. If the Galactic Concord had been watching Earth for centuries, what else might they have been doing? As the Vanguard established secure communications with Earth, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that humanity was stepping onto a stage where the rules had been established long ago by powers that might not have their best interests at heart. The true test of humanity was just beginning. Defiance and discovery? Absolutely not. Maya's voice was firm as she addressed the holographic projection of the United Earth Defense Council. "With all due respect, we will not voluntarily surrender the Vanguard to alien custody." Admiral Katsumi Tanaka, head of the council, leaned forward. His weathered face reflected decades of military service and the weight of the current crisis. "Captain Chen, we understand your position, but the diplomatic implications are precisely why we should maintain our independence." Maya finished. "The Concord is clearly unsettled by our technology. If we submit to their authority now, we establish a precedent that Earth answers to external powers." The 6 hours since first contact had been a whirlwind of diplomatic exchanges and tense standoffs. The Concord vessel, now joined by 2 additional ships, maintained a blocking position that effectively trapped the Vanguard unless they risked a confrontation. "We've intercepted additional transmissions," Dr. Puddle reported, stepping into view of the council feed. "They're discussing humanity as a protocol anomaly. There's mention of something called the Ascension Timeline that we've apparently violated." Admiral Tanaka frowned. "Do they view this as a threat?" "I believe so," Maya answered. "But there's something else." She nodded to Lieutenant Park, who transferred a data packet to Earth. "Our scans detected another monitoring station deeper in our solar system, one with a very different energy signature from the Concord technology. When we mentioned it to Sentinel Zaravek, they became evasive." The council members exchanged troubled glances as they reviewed the data. "You think there's another player involved?" asked Defense Minister Rodriguez. "I think the Concord isn't telling us everything," Maya replied. "And I believe this is why they're so insistent on bringing us in, not just because we've developed unexpectedly advanced technology, but because they don't want us investigating these other structures." A heavy silence fell over the communication as the council processed this information. Finally, Admiral Tanaka spoke. "Captain Chen, the council grants you operational discretion. Investigate these anomalous structures, but avoid direct confrontation with the Concord if possible. Earth cannot afford a war with an advanced alien coalition." "Understood, Admiral. Vanguard out." As the transmission ended, Maya turned to her crew. "We have our orders. Jackson, I need options for breaking away from our escorts without triggering a firefight." Her second-in-command nodded thoughtfully. "The quantum drive is recharged, but they'll detect the energy buildup before we can jump." However, a slow smile spread across his face. "What if we give them something else to worry about?" Within the hour, their plan was set. The Vanguard sent a formal message to the Concord vessels, apparently agreeing to accompany them to their station, but requesting a 12-hour preparation period. During that time, they launched a series of small probes, ostensibly to collect scientific data for Earth's records. What the Concord didn't realize was that these probes carried sophisticated electronic warfare packages designed to temporarily disrupt their sensor systems. Detonation in 3, 2, 1. Lieutenant Park counted down. Across space, the probes simultaneously activated, flooding the area with electromagnetic pulses and sensor ghosts. Alarms blared on the Concord vessels as their systems registered hundreds of phantom objects suddenly appearing around them. Now, Maya ordered. The Vanguard's engines flared to life, accelerating the ship away from the confused Concorde vessels. Before they could respond, the quantum drive engaged, folding space around the human ship and sending it hurtling toward the coordinates of the mysterious non-Concorde structure. When they emerged from quantum space minutes later, Maya felt a chill run down her spine. Before them floated a massive station, dark, angular, and bristling with what were unmistakably weapon systems. Unlike the elegant, crystalline design of Concorde technology, this structure seemed designed for efficiency and intimidation. Life signs? Maya asked, her voice hushed. Minimal, reported Science Officer Wei. The station appears to be running on automated systems with a skeleton crew. I'm detecting unusual energy readings, similar to the kind we'd expect from mining or extraction equipment. Maya frowned. Extraction of what? Before anyone could answer, the communication system crackled to life. An alien face appeared on screen. Reptilian, with amber eyes set in a scaled face adorned with bony ridges. When it spoke, the translator struggled to keep up, suggesting a language completely different from the Concorde's. Human vessel. The alien hissed, "You have stumbled upon what is not yours to discover. Retreat immediately." Maya stood tall. "We are the Earth Federation ship Vanguard. We've detected your presence in our solar system without our knowledge or consent. Explain your purpose." The alien's eyes narrowed. "Your system contains resources valuable to the Vraxian Dominion. The Concorde's protection of developing worlds prevents efficient harvesting. We merely circumvent their restrictions." Dr. Padol gasped as understanding dawned. "They're planning to strip mine our system, possibly including Earth itself." Maya's expression hardened. "That is unacceptable. Our world is not a resource to be harvested." The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. "Your approval is irrelevant. The harvesting fleet approaches, and the Concorde remains ignorant of our true operations. Your primitive vessel cannot stop us." "We'll see about that," Maya replied, signaling Lieutenant Park to cut the transmission. She turned to her tactical officer. "Options. Their station defenses are formidable, Captain, but designed to repel large-scale attacks. If we use precision strikes on their communication array, we could prevent them from contacting their fleet while alerting the Concorde to their presence." Maya nodded. "Do it, and prepare a data package with everything we've learned. Send it to Earth on a secure channel." The Vanguard moved into position, its advanced targeting systems locking onto the Vraxian station's communications array. But before they could fire, space distorted once more as 3 Concorde vessels appeared, including Sentinel Zorovek's ship. "Human vessel, stand down immediately," the Sentinel's voice demanded over the comm. Maya opened a channel. "Sentinel, the Vraxians are planning to harvest our system. They've been operating under your nose, possibly for decades." There was a moment of stunned silence before Zorovek responded. "That is a serious accusation, Captain Chen. One you can verify yourself," Maya countered. "Scan their station. You'll find extraction technology and plans for a full-scale operation." As the Concorde ships conducted their scans, the Vraxian station suddenly powered up its weapon systems, targeting both the Vanguard and the Concorde vessels. Evasive maneuvers, Maya ordered as energy beams lanced through space. What followed was chaos. The Vanguard, despite being technologically outmatched, proved remarkably agile. Maya's tactical training shined as she directed her ship through a series of maneuvers that confounded both the Vraxians and the Concorde. When a Vraxian blast damaged one of the Concorde vessels, leaving it vulnerable to a follow-up strike, Maya didn't hesitate. "Intercept that incoming torpedo," she commanded. The Vanguard surged forward, its point defense systems targeting and destroying the Vraxian weapon before it could reach the damaged Concorde ship. The action was not lost on Zorovek. "Captain Chen," the Sentinel's voice came through amid the battle. "It appears we have misjudged humanity." Working together, The human and Concorde ships systematically disabled the Vraxian station's weapons and propulsion systems. When the battle ended, the Vraxians were contained, and the Concorde began extracting data that confirmed the planned harvesting operation. Aboard the Vanguard, Maya finally allowed herself to breathe. Damage report. Minor structural damage to sections 3 and 7, Jackson reported. 2 crew members with injuries, none critical. All major systems operational. The main screen activated, showing Sentinel Zarevek. The alien's eyes now glowed a calm blue. Captain Chen, the Concorde owes humanity an apology, and perhaps gratitude. The Vraxians have been violating our most sacred laws, and you have helped expose their operations. Maya nodded. Does this mean Earth is no longer considered a protocol anomaly? Zarevek made a gesture that resembled a shrug. Your technology advancement remains unprecedented, but your actions today demonstrate that humanity possesses not only technical capability, but ethical judgment. The Concorde Council will want to establish formal diplomatic relations, as equals, not subjects. That's a conversation I'll gladly have, Maya replied, but the decision ultimately lies with Earth's leadership. Of course, the Sentinel agreed. In the meantime, I believe we have a Vraxian harvesting fleet to intercept. As the communication ended, Maya turned to her crew, pride evident in her expression. Send a full report to Earth. Let them know that humanity has just made its first ally, and its first enemy, among the stars. Dr. Paddle smiled. Not bad for our first day in interstellar politics. Day 1 of many, Maya replied, looking out at the stars that suddenly seemed much closer and more complex than ever before. This is just the beginning. In the weeks that followed, Earth established formal diplomatic ties with the Galactic Concorde. The Vanguard became the flagship of a growing fleet of human vessels, each incorporating lessons learned from their alien encounters. Captain Maya Chen, now Admiral Chen, led Earth's new interstellar defense force, ensuring that humanity would never again be vulnerable to threats from beyond. And across the galaxy, word spread rapidly of the humans, a supposedly primitive species that had not only developed quantum technology ahead of schedule, but had exposed a Vraxian plot and fought with unexpected skill and courage. The galaxy trembled, not with fear, but with the realization that a new power had emerged, one that would not be underestimated again. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and the universe would never be the same.